make the strings.
Loading up. Got the heater going. Ty? You ready?
What is this?
You know what today is?
Your fan switch?
You know what today is?
Is your fan switch?
That is my fan switch.
Passenger cool mode or what?
But we're not talking about that. So today is dyno day. We're taking the 2J Mustang. So before we get started, you guys go ahead and pause and comment how many horsepower this thing's gonna make on pump gas. And we're gonna get going. That's what we're doing. That's all we gotta do because we're late. Alright, so Ty, what do you think of this is Ty's first time.
Like everything in my mind is telling me like it shouldn't sound like the 240, but it does. So it's
like
weird.
The Supra or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It just like reminds you of like the 240, the Supra, but it's.
Oh, and so last night I put the shift boot in. So we got a shift boot, we got a center console.
It's like a full interior 2J Mustang.
Yeah, and then I was like, we were listening. So we got my cell phone connected to the Bluetooth right now. I was like, oh, I don't like this song, so we just gave it the old skip, you know. And then you can change. You just do all that stuff. I can do all the voice commands and stuff. I mean, it makes sense because it's a Mustang, but it's just really cool that all that stuff works. So basically, the only stuff that we have working right now in the dash is the tachometer, and then some of the center gauges. So we have. Like the air fuel ratio, I don't have the factory wideband in there, but we have the one that's connected to the ECU, which, I mean, that's always going to be there anyhow. The boost vacuum thing, I didn't run a vacuum line to that. Cylinder head temperature, so that shows up on the gauge cluster. Oil temp, none of that stuff works. And voltage, so right now, I don't have any of the fans hooked up. We basically just have it on a switch over there. And that's just in case it gets hot in traffic, but it's literally 20 degrees out right now, and it hasn't gone above like 165. So we're just
So now we gotta. This is like the tester because.
Oh yeah.
We have a 2-hour drive to the dyno.
Yep. So yesterday I drove it around for like 30 minutes in the morning. Kind of testing some stuff, kind of dialing in some air fuel ratio stuff, you know, just on the tune, just kind of getting a better base, so it would be able to drive up here. And so yeah, I figured, you know, we're not gonna know if it can do a drive like this unless we do a drive like this. So drive it to the dyno, hopefully back from the dyno, and if it breaks down, I mean, we have AAA. And, you know, this is a super solid test, so as long as you get the engine, drivetrain, all that stuff dialed in today, then we basically come back. I have a ton of suspension parts, and basically just get the rest of the car ready to go. And
ready for what, 3,600 miles? So
30, I think it's more than 3,600 miles, but yeah, it's a lot of miles. A lot of miles we're going to be on the road with this thing, but, I mean, it is kind of like it's like a modern Supra. It's almost like what the Supra should have been. It's like a modern chassis, has like IRS in the rear, a big old giant diff, like, you know, six speed manual trans, you know, all the nice fancy gauge cluster and everything. It's pretty much like a modern Supra if you think about it.
Yeah.
So.
What a Mustang.
What a Mustang. So we are headed up to Mspek Performance. As you guys know, that is where I had the 2J in my Supra tuned, which is pretty much this exact setup, and it's pretty much that same tune. So I just basically copied the Supra tune and dropped it in here, scaled the injectors, changed some inputs and outputs, and Steve is the tuner over there, and Mspek, they do tons and tons of JZ stuff, and they have a car in Formula Drift Pro 2, which was out there competing. It's 2J, so they just do tons of Supras, tons of GTRs, and lots of stuff with drifting. So they know, about like the on-off throttle, all that stuff, and it's pretty much Steve's tune anyhow. So it already runs really well. Obviously, like we're cruising it up here. So basically, he's just kind of go over the overall file, double check some of the safety parameters, just kind of make sure it's solid. I mean, honestly, I think we could have probably did the whole road trip just like this, but it's just one of those things. Like, this is a really good test to test out the car all together, see it actually on the dyno, get some power numbers for you guys, and yeah. So my Super is basically, I've been beating the crap out of that. I mean, I won the burnout contest at Streetcar Takeover, doing a 4th gear rev limiter burnout. Done some drifting stuff with it, and beat the crap out of it. It's went 11-1 at 135 in Florida in the quarter mile. So pretty solid tune. It feels pretty good on here. It's about 12 pounds of boost, and it creeps up to about 16 pounds right now. So we'll probably turn it up a little bit, probably about 24-ish, and kind of see what that does for power numbers. But yeah, I mean, she's been solid. We've been driving for probably what, 70 miles now?
Yeah, about it.
A little over an hour, and I mean, she's pretty good. It just sounds so weird because it's still kind of quiet. So much better with the exhaust cut off. So it kind of pops out a 5th a little bit. I mean, it's just cruising. It's probably going to be the most comfortable car on the road trip, I'm going to say. What do you think?
This thing is just so clean. Stupid clean. One day, boys. That's my dream car right there, so.
You like the way that Mustang sounds?
Yeah, right? Our new Turo, bud. Stukey's letting us borrow his supercharged Range Rover. We're gonna go grab some food and edit a video.
Alright, so we just got done eating lunch. We came back, and they said that there was a little bit of a vacuum leak on the brake booster. The brake booster, one-way pass valve is just kind of leaking, so they went ahead and plugged it, and then the spark plugs is kind of blowing out. So we got a little bit of a gap, and I don't know if you can tell how long these plugs have been in there. They've probably been in there about 2 years on the stock ECU, where it runs 10.0 AFR under full boost, and the gap is pretty big. So we're gonna gap them down and stick these guys back in there, and we're gonna be ready to turn it up.
Ready for the sauce.
Yeah.
thing sounds nasty. Doesn't sound like what a Mustang should sound like. JZ's with wastegate dumps.
Did it give a power number?
I don't know. I don't think he was doing power. He just.
It sounded.
Yeah, he's still just getting all the.
Yeah, he's running through them, dialing it in.
What do you think of it?
It's loud now, but it's. I mean, that's obviously a dump.
Yeah, the wastegate just freaking screams.
You get that sweet Mspek car in the background.
A bit of a plug there for.
How you doing? Hey, what do you think of Jay-Z's?
What do you think of Jay-Z?
She doesn't know what she thinks of Jay-Z's. So, we're making 480 foot-pounds of torque at basically 400 horse and 480 foot-pounds of torque. I don't think he's really messed with the wastegate duty cycle a lot. But here at Mspek, they got a vibrant wall, which is sick. Got a bunch of couplers, all that stuff. Plasma and intake manifold. They have some Schaefer's oil, all kinds of stuff like that. And then we were hanging out over here just a little bit ago. They got a super sick sim all set up on a Assetto Corsa. So Ty was giving it a try.
It's hard.
He was telling me that like I needed to learn how to drift, and then he got on there.
I just said it's hard.
Look at this. We need one of these. We need this whole thing.
Yeah, this is a sick space.
Yeah, we could have meetings right here. We could have the board meetings.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? So and then basically you just walk out of their little kind of showroom, kind of lobby office area, and you walk right out here into the shop. We got a freaking 2J Mustang on the dyno. Got a sick golf cart. This is my buddy Wes's LS3 13-14 thing, 13 with a 14 front. Got some new lifts getting installed today.
Yes, lock it up.
All right, Pete. Harder. Lift.
Can't do it. Did in my Wheaties today.
I thought you were the backbone of this company.
It's coming together. It's sounding good.
So pretty much kind of dialed in a lot of the on-off throttle, all that type of stuff. Now we're just kind of doing some power pulls. So I think Steve's pretty happy with it. Look at that. So this is the dyno jet. So there's basically a dyno jet calibration correction factor. So that's, what is that? Almost 500 foot-pounds of torque. That's crazy. And this is the Mustang dyno, the Mustang numbers. So we got 473 horse and 446 foot-pounds of torque, which that's crazy. There's only revving it to 4,400 RPM. So she's got that Garrett Gtx3076r Gen 2 making all the steam down low. And kind of the funny thing is you can actually just free rev this thing. It has a 12-pound wastegate spring in it, and it opens the wastegate just revving it. So if you just rev it, it'll go and like let the wastegate open. It'll scream. It's nuts. got 420 horse and 443 torque. And on like dyno jet stuff, that's like, so they're I think that's about 500 horse on, because this is 480 and that's right there. It went a little, yeah, that's 5 something and almost 520 torque on a dyno jet. And this is the Mustang numbers right here, which is 420 horse and then 443 foot-pounds of torque. And you can see where all the torque is. Look at that, 4,200 RPM. We have 480 foot-pounds of torque. We had a little bit of an issue with fuel pressure dropping. And so there's 2 Deatschwerks 400s in there. And I think what was happening is we only had one of them basically on, and like you're kind of supposed to stage the second one to turn on when you come into boost. And what was happening is it was holding base pressure until we were probably hitting like 15 pounds of boost, and then it would just fall off to about 20. So what we did is I think it was kind of just blowing past maybe that pump or the like a one-way valve or something in there. So we staged it in the second pump, and now it's basically, you know, base pressure is about 50 and it's creeping up to about 60, 70 pounds and just basically holding it all the way to redline. And timing is super, super safe. We're about 10, 12 degrees, and just basically Steve's just trying to keep the cylinder pressures and everything down so that this thing will just basically live on the, you know, it'll just live with me doing whatever we need to do, especially with how heavy this car is, so. Woo! 425 horse, 455 Mustang.
So we picked up 25 horse and about 5 torque on the Mustang.
It's not bad.
Woo!
It's just getting insane.
It's about 500 and 540.
Was that boost just holding out?
I'm trying to lift the back side of the boost curve.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
So it'll hold it.
So it'll hold it. Yeah. So we're not falling off. And it came up a little bit. We picked up a few horsepower.
Yeah.
So we picked up about 15 horsepower from timing, and then 5 horsepower from fixing the boost a little bit. So
Sweet.
I'm gonna get a little more aggressive with it, try and get it pulled all the way out.
Hear that blow-off valve? It don't get that loud, and it don't get that loud unless it's angry.
But it looks like it's a little on low. So basically we've got our torque coming up, and we hit a maximum of 549 foot-pounds of torque, and then when we follow horsepower, we end up at 511 and a half, almost 512 horsepower. So not bad. Yeah, that's gonna be rowdy, dude.
And so, Steve, what did we start out with today, horsepower-wise?
280, 275
280.
horsepower.
Now it's showing like 5
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Just a good bit.
So that's.
Yeah, she's gonna scream.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that, and we ended off with about 24 pounds of boost.
Yeah, 24 pounds.
Yeah, so 24 pounds of boost. Steve, he messed around with the CAN gauge quite a bit and basically got all of input signal. So it changes voltages and inputs it to the ECU to where like basically 6 is like full boost and then 0 is like basically wastegate spring. So we'll basically have 6 different varying things of boost control on here, all through that CAN gauge, which is super sweet. Shout out to BTI gauges. And again, huge shout out to Mspek Performance. Steve over here, he spent pretty much all day on this thing, kind of dialing it in, chasing fuel issues. And Mspek is actually offering you guys 10% off if you mention the 2GZ Mustang and that you guys actually watch this video. And that's a huge thing for a shop, especially dyno time. I mean, you guys do dyno tunes. You guys have people that like tow their cars from all over the country, ship them in, stuff like that. Obviously, they do like 1,000 horsepower like super builds, R34s, R32s, R33s, GTRs, RX-7s. You've done a lot of like Adaptronic stuff on like rotary stuff.
Rotary
So
this is
comfortable with whatever.
Yeah. So this is where Dave had his FD tuned, and yeah, so he did a super thorough job. And again, they have that crazy carbon Kevlar. I'm sure you guys seen it in the B-roll. S14 with a 15 front that competes in Pro 2 out there with you know, Adam and all that stuff. So definitely know what they're doing. They're here in Denver, Colorado. So if you guys are interested, be sure to follow them on Instagram, Facebook, message them, check out their website. They sell parts and stuff too. But I think that's about it.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say?
No, man, it's cool. It's neat. I like being involved in stuff with this. So thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, Casey was saying that he actually now he wants a Mustang, but maybe
The crowd killer.
at least it'll sound good when it's when it's
mowing
ripping in
people
there.
down.
Yeah, my favorite Mustang by far.
No, yeah, the body is just where it is, and
Well, I mean this one, 2J.
I mean this
Plus this body.
This is my favorite
Yeah, this
one
is my
too.
favorite
so-
body style, but with the 2J in it, favorite Mustang. So.
Yeah, the nice thing too is it's like it is kind of a little beat up, so we're gonna go thrash this.
You don't have
thing,
to care
so-
as much.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna get this thing off the dyno, and we're gonna head back. We got a 2-hour basically trip, and then we have 3,600 miles ahead of us. So definitely a lot of stuff. And also this thing is on pump gas. So made all that stuff on pump gas. Deatschwerks 1000cc fuel injectors, twin DW400s fuel pumps in the tank, 8-an feed line, 6-an return, ECU Master standalone. I don't know what else. BTI Can Gauge. We got some things coming for it. Oh, and we also picked up a 240 amp alternator for it, so this thing will stop squeaking on the dyno basically. So, right here, we have 540 torque and 511 horse. So, tons of torque. Look at all that. We make 500. Oh, this is wheel speed. I was gonna say RPM, but man, this thing's gonna be crazy. And then, so this is the Mustang dyno, Mustang numbers. So we have, hold on, 450 torque and 423 on a Mustang. See another cool thing?
Huh.
That was a Mustang on a Mustang dyno.
That was a Mustang on a Mustang dyno.
That alternator squeal though.
So this is not the way we were expecting to kind of start our drive home. So we're still about 90 miles away from home. Stopped and ate some food, and got back on the highway. When we first started it, we noticed a little noise, and it was a little bit loud. And we're like, oh, well, maybe it'll go away. Maybe it'll go away. And didn't go away. It got worse, and it spit out something on the ground, and that is this. So the issue with 100 amp alternator, 200 amp system, electric power steering, all that type of stuff. 2 big giant fuel pumps, a bunch of electronics and stuff in this car that this JZ alternator basically wasn't up to. So I'm not sure if it locked up. Obviously something got really, really hot and basically smoked this belt right here. So we went ahead and pulled off the highway, called in O'Reilly. There's one about 3 miles away, and they have one in stock. And Casey from Mspek is actually on his way to go grab it and come over here right now. But the good thing is in the back seat we have a brand new alternator. It's like a Mesler or something. It's like a 240 amp alternator, so it's a pretty big dog. So we're gonna go ahead and I mean, I'm just curious if this, I'm afraid to touch it because it's probably really hot, but so the alternator spins, but is not happy. So yeah, if we could throw a belt on it, we should be able to get going, but we have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna maybe try to swap that alternator on here if it's not too much work. And I don't know if I can even get it out of there. Oh.
How you doing, Chuck?
Felt like I just gave birth, or I just helped with the delivery.
Child.
So look at that, freaking old and new. How freaking sick is that? Like literally we have this. I wish we had a jack with us right now, because I have so these are the NT05s that are off of the Supra, so they're really expensive tires, but I brought a spare set of tires. How sick would that be? Like right when we were done, just to like, look at this parking lot.
It's huge. It's open.
All right, here we go. Send this guy
Shove it back in.
The new alternator on down there. I tried to pick a bunch of this rubber out of the grooves of my pocket knife, and so yeah, Casey is on his way. He just stopped at the O'Reilly. He has the new belt, and the new belt is on its way, and we're trying to stay warm inside the car. We didn't bring a blanket, so me and Kyle, we were almost getting ready to snuggle.
Get ready to cuddle a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
We got a savior.
Saving grace.
You got the goods, man?
You got the cash.
Yeah. Sick. Hopefully these ones work. One of them works at least.
Alright, bud. She's on there.
All right. Think she's gonna start?
Do it.
No alternator squeal.
Sick.
Never had 14 volts.
Sick.
14 now?
Never had 14. And look at, listen to that.
Yeah.
We can probably turn our fan on too.
Alright. We're back home now.
We ready? Look at that.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks, man.
I got some cash for you.
I appreciate that.
So in order to make sure we're gonna get home, we gotta give this the test, right? Give the test.
Gotta get that boost line and that vacuum leak fixed.
Yeah.
Needs more boost.
But yeah, I tried second it. I went faster, but it's kind of sketchy with the manual brakes.
Yeah.
Never drive it anymore.
Fix the vacuum leak.
Alright guys, so we made it all the way home. I think it's about a 200-mile round trip. And once we got the alternator back in it, literally we didn't have any issues at all. So that's I think about almost an hour and 45-minute drive, and we did it in like an hour and 15. So she's running pretty good. And she's really smooth on the highway. So at about 3,000 RPMs, I think it does about 100 things. 100 things is what it does, about 3,000 RPM. So I'm pretty excited about this road trip. I slid it around in the parking lot a little bit, where we changed the alternator, and it just feels really big. And then the steering, there's just absolutely no angle. And then this seat, it just kind of lets you like flop all the way around. So, and the e-brake doesn't really do anything. So we have pretty much things to solve all of that other than the seat. I'm really trying to decide what to do with this thing as far as like a livery. Maybe wrap the whole car, maybe like black, silver, and blue. But if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, or if you guys know any graphic designers, or if you want to like design something in Forza or something and shoot it over to me, the Instagram's probably the best place. And we're almost at 60,000 followers on Instagram, so I think we're like 100 away. So if you want to go follow us on Instagram, let's keep up with the antics and stuff. So alternator basically was super solid the whole way home. Didn't have any issues. 150 degrees. But that's going to be it. I look forward to more videos. We're going to put a trailer hitch on this thing, go trailer shopping, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I think that's about it. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you later.